I'm going to record it and then I'll share the recording. Okay, so 17th. It's actually the 200 registers. So I'm not sure whether I should wait for a minute to the people to join. It's people more and more joining now. Okay, so it's almost time. So I'm going to start by sharing my presentation first. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
How about?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, so, okay. Then slideshow. Okay, so let's start for today's webinar. We have a lot to talk about and then to show. Okay, so today's topic is a Metaverse economic system by digital twin, NFT and DeFi Convergence. So we are going to talk about very exciting and then emerging technology and business area. Okay, so I'm Alex Lee. I'm a main host and the main speaker of this webinar. And then this is, I did several times of the different topic of the Metaverse, starting from the mid of last year. So this will be around the 10th or something like that. So I posted whole my recording and presentation in SlideShare and YouTube. And we have two distinguished speakers, and then we have Sanford and Moses. We'll talk about their elaboration to how to combining NFT and DeFi, and offer a new area of the Metaverse business. Okay, so they will introduce themselves when they talk about. Okay, so I will start mine first, and then I'm going to talk about 40 minutes, and then in touch by the Moses and Sanford for their topic after that. So I will set the stage that what is Metaverse, and then how they relate to NFT, DeFi, and digital twins, and then how actually they can form a new economic system. So actually, this is a continuation of I did last week that the topic, actually the foundation of today's topic. So I'm going to briefly introduce what I have done last week about what kind of the Metaverse applications, and then how you develop a new business model based on Metaverse applications. And then at the time, actually, I talk about the economic system to monetize your business. And then today's topic will be the focus on how you actually monetize your Metaverse business based on this new type of the Metaverse economic system by combining NFT and DeFi and digital twins. Okay, so first I'm going to overview about what the present status and the future of the Metaverse. So first topic will be I think that the Metaverse revolution, there are many people doubt about whether it's real or not, but for me, shortly, I'm 30 years plus experience in this space. Mostly I focused on starting from the mobile communication to IoT, and then AI, blockchain, and all the scope of the IT and telecom and then digital technology. So for my understanding that it will be the Metaverse revolution, like a digital revolution or the fourth generation revolution. It will be the revolution, and then it will be imperative. So everybody should prepare this new paradigm, and then you should know about where you should go as a business. Okay, so briefly, that this is the one actually the difference between that when the metaverse is appear in the media. Maybe the turning point was the Mark Zuckerberg talk about he wanna his business to be like a metaverse, and then he changed his company name to Meta in last like a summer sometime. But before that, actually, there's only few interesting in this topic, and then after that, there is a growing number of the media exposure about this topic. So you can see that like even Newsweek about it, about the Roblox is a well-known game metaverse. And then also you heard about Microsoft, and then also CBS News talk about the Facebook, and then for the first year, see the big potential in the metaverse. So all big tech companies, like for example Google, also looking at this space, and then metaverse is expecting the big giant, like big technology companies like Google, Apple, Microsoft, and Meta, and other will be joined in this space. And then you can think about even semiconductor device like NVIDIA and Intel join these ventures. Okay, so next topic will be, okay, so is there any a business case? None yet, because this is very early stage. Even you can heard recent about the stock market, decline of the price in the Meta because they too much investing in the metaverse, like a business or something like that. So up to now, no company actually earn money for this metaverse. So actually, no business case yet. But there are many enterprise and industry-wise application is coming out, and the many companies announced they are joining this space. And then what I talk about is enterprise industries is not if you are for example, that the metaverse means to different for the different business people, but mostly the current mainstream is something like a media or the game space. And then if you think about that kind of application, I'm not talking about much about that kind of application. Even you can think of okay, Roblox, or you have a creative economy, and then you can develop your own game and invite people to buy it, or some game artifact. That kind of application is the thinking about, but that's a very narrow scope. And then is industry-wise enterprise, there are a lot of the different type of application is coming up from starting from the last year, late last year, and then this year, especially the CES showed a coming of the many different types of the metaverse enterprise industry application it will be in industry-wise. Okay, so here is a Boeing. They want to build the next airplane in the metaverse. So metaverse will be like a collaboration space to build up, developing something. And then also you can even retail, Walmart talk about preparing into the metaverse. And then in the CES, there's Samsung, and then they introduce a smart home based on metaverse. And then also Samsung launched Metaverse Store in Decentralized. Decentralized land is a metaverse, a space that you can build up, and then they actually they mimic their showroom in the New York. So this is another way to actually that you can build up your business marketing area in the metaverse. And then also in the healthcare space, they're preparing the metaverse. And then also automotive like Hyundai or the other company like a BMW or other company in automotive company, even they think about their showroom in the metaverse, and even they think of a smart factory based on metaverse. It will be in the launching in a short year. So and then also you can think of even the fashion industry that already they are adopting the metaverse. And then you can think about even Disney, in entertainment, they're preparing metaverse for the some metaverse type of Disneyland in something like that. Okay, so especially for today's topic, now I specifically call Metaverse virtual creative economic emergence. That this terminology is talk about, like, for example, like a virtual restaurant, like on and in the like a Chipotle, in the famous Mexican food restaurant, that they like in the on the Roblox, the game platform, they developing their virtual restaurant, and then sell through the like online offline, like in a like integration way to sell their like a food. And then you can think about like even the virtual real estate, like decentralized land or the sandbox, other like other the kind of platform, they sell their real estate in the virtually. And then you can think about like for example, even the Meta, they have a horizon like a metaverse platform. They want to including the NFT to like supporting like their like Instagram or some other their like platform. And then in the manifest sale hit like 25 billion in year 2021 based on this kind of the new like a metaverse application. And the people can sell something through using this NFT. And then fourth about the talk about the creative economy, and then the potential to like a $2 trillion entertainment, even just the entertainment, the media industry, like a $2 trillion, the huge amount of the market potential with this new type of the economy. And then Fortune talk about the even the metaverse avatar. Actually, the avatar is the representation, digital representation of yourself to into the metaverse space in a way that I'm explaining more detail about what is meant by the metaverse avatar. And then also like for example that the NFT like is economy is kind of the construct the virtual economy stay relevant in even in the 2022. And then in the Financial Times that they talk about like a virtual economy enabled by digital, like and then move into the digital business to metaverse business. So they talk about the coming of this metaverse business as some way to new way of to doing business. Okay, so I'm not going to detail about this one. This is a one I just try to express everything that talk about and expected in the metaverse space in a one page. But here that you can think about is like a metaverse is the emerging space, like a physical and virtual space, and then augment by the other space. So this is one space that, so for example, that this is a purely digital space, and then you are in the physical space, and then you can join this virtual space through your avatar, and the other people can join this virtual space. So this can be like, for example, the game like a Roblox, or like a Decentraland, like a land sale, or some space like a mimic the virtual mimic the real space, and then you can join and you can interact with other people and they interact with other the real things or the virtual things in here. So basically they're currently focused on is a heavily virtual, I mean that everything is virtual except you and me join as an avatar. And then the other ways that you can think of as a traditional application, like for example augmented reality is the other way to join that virtual space joined to real space by this augmented reality device. So they will overlap to your like a physical space of the country you're located, and then you have overlap with this virtual space. And then you can think about like the digital twins, that the twin space that is actually the like a dual like a space, like a physical space and your virtual space, and then they are linked by this some communication, and then they are like a twin of the each space and they are related. And then the one concept that have in mind is like what kind of business potential that actually to provide this one. And one is that I'm going to talk about is the new experience done by something that I call a metaverse experience that provided that's a huge potential for the new business like a creation. And also the other is to thinking about is to like for example that here is in the virtual space, no space-time resource limitations. So we can talk about it's a dematerialization. So no limitation in like in the physical space. So you can have a lot of the like potential to develop something, create something or business that you cannot be possible in the physical space because of this dematerialization provided by this virtual space. But the difference is that in a metaverse, they are merges, they are related. So whatever you do in the virtual space will be reflected in your real space. That's the difference between the previously you talk about, like, for example, purely like internet space, virtual space, or something that's purely like augmented reality time. They are mixed, they are converges, they are related. This is a different, and then it provides huge potential, especially for the business. Okay, so I'm summarized that based on my analysis that announced the application and then what kind of like a new user experience, like a metaverse user experience is possible. So I summarize everything potential. For example, the immersive reality experience. So this is well known, like using XR device like AR, VR, MR device to like providing like immersive reality experience. This is one key. And then through this metaverse, it's a 3D space and then merge with a physical and the virtual space. So what you have is enhanced emotional experience, so like a fantasy, sensation, and sense of a presence. This is one way. For example, like a Horizon, like a meeting room, you have like work with the remote workers, and then you feel immersive, and you feel the sense of presence, and then it's as if you were there with other people at the same place at the same time. This is the one you can have it. And then the active realistic interaction influencing experience with digital robotic avatar. So this is one you experience through this surrogate, like for example, like a digital avatar or some robotics, and then you will experience, and then it'll be actively realistic interaction experience to provide. And then this is a very important topic that you cannot have before, that actually there is a like a cross-connected experience. This is one actually the virtual space and real space are related, and then they are cross-connected. So whatever you have in the virtual space can be connected to the real space, and then whatever happens in your real space will be connected to the virtual space. This is very, very important topic, is a very, very important element for the creation of the new business. For example, what I expect, for example, Apple are preparing their like a smart device, smart XR device, and then there is rumor that when it will be like at the end of this year or the early next year, whatever. But I can expect based on their patent that there will be some type of the like device. And then I can imagine that this XR device, like for example, I can call it Metaverse device of Apple, will be interoperate with other Apple device, like for example, Apple's like Apple Watch, Apple smartphone, whatever related, they will be interrelated. And then whatever, for example, that you have like a virtual thing and then real thing at the same time. So you have like everything in the real space. You like XR device and whatever you have, like for example, your smartwatch or the speakers or the media player, whatever, they will be existing in the virtual space in the future, and then they will be interactive. So if you play something in the metaverse, in the virtual metaverse, and then they will play like into the like your real space because they are related, connected. So your experience will be the seamlessly like a transfer from the virtual to real and real to virtual. This is will be the killer application that Apple can, and other company maybe can do the like a Samsung. For example, Samsung, they have like a smart home appliance. They will be interoperable, and then they will be crossover, something like that. So for example, if you see like look at the Samsung like a smart TV, and then you see that same thing in your metaverse, and you have a digital twin of your like smart TV in the real space to your virtual space, and then whatever you see in the virtual space will be over in the real space. So this is a very important topic that you should be thinking about it. And then collaboration, like a democratization space. You can collaborate with the unlimited resources and the telepresence experience. And then create a community participation. This is also very huge potential co-creation. So the customers is no longer just a passive way to, for example, you promote your service and product, and then customers if satisfied, and then they just buy it. And then maybe if they want something that they provide they want something, and they can be reflected some way, but not directly or in the immediately, but in the future, that then the customers will be part of your product and service, like a creation, and then they will be like a co-creator of your product service, and then it will be an important role in the complete different ways actually the customers and client involved in your business. And then also like a virtual commerce monetization experience, so they earn money, like but for example, recently there is a very popular like a P2E, like a pray to earn, like for example, a lot of the like because of COVID-19 is very difficult in the physical presence. And then I heard about for example, in Philippines, so a lot of people earn money through this kind of the join a metaverse game and then pray something and earn money. So they like it, or the Roblox, you play game and you develop your like artifact or you sell it. But this is not just for the game and media. Then you can think about completely different ways of to monetize your money through your launching of your business model in everyday practice. This will be huge potential. And then in the mass sharing engagement, so it is well on like in the digital business, network effect is very important, but it'll be augmented network effect in completely different ways to like accelerate your network effect. So I just to formalize, like for example, metaverse business opportunity is to like how you do that. This based on this, you choose pick and choose some metaverse use case and the metaverse like some like experience, so you can develop. So last week actually I developed like I provide very detail about how you develop your business model, but I'm not going to talk about. Here is one important point I developed is that some of you may be like a blockchain expert, some of you may be the IoT or the internet, and then if you are in like a blockchain space, you're pretty much pretty much you are familiar with like a decentralized network, and then you find the IoT network and then how they relate to like a link to like a physical space and virtual space. And then IoT is a purely real space interaction. So whatever the entity of a connection is a real entity. And then they have like a communicating and sensing like a capability and then network. And then network by in the like a real space, and then by this internet actually they presence in the like a virtual space, but the way actually mechanism they provide their presence in the virtual space is based on like a real entity connection in the real space. And then another topic is that whether if you have done that kind of capability, then the other way is actually to put your every individual real entity to the virtual space. For example, website is a good example. Like for example, you have product, and then you have like an image or whatever the digital representation of a product, and then you post it in your website, and then they connect it. And this is an internet product. So in this case, everything in here is virtual thing, and then they connect it through the internet. So they are virtual space connection. So this they call internet product. And then internet digital twin is the difference is that they are the combination of the virtual thing and real thing connection. But the important topic is that this real and virtual entities are interconnected through this digital twin network. So this is a completely different. So this concept will be used in developing the new business opportunity that I already mentioned, the crossover between the virtual to real to virtual based on this type of the mechanism. Okay, so this is a set of stage why I'm interested in the like set up some system way to developing the metaverse economic system. Because of I want to interested in like develop a system ways like to get the opportunity and set up the new business model I call metaverse business model. And this is one architecture that your user experience that I mentioned it, and then you like a use case and you combining and then to develop the new business model like a metaverse business model. And they have a 4 component: value proposition, well-known, and then value creation, and then value capture, and then operating model, right? It's a business process. And then actually for me that I'm interested in developing this operating model supporting platform I call Metaverse Enterprise platform that I have a conceptualized last year, and then I applied the patent for this one. And then also this is the everybody know about Metaverse space building platform like Roblox, Decentralizing, Omniverse, whatever, that they can have you to build up this metaverse space. And then you can pick and choose whatever you want, or you can develop your own. And then this will be the metaverse co-creation platform is not coming yet, but this will be the huge potential also. And then there is a money, like how you capture your value, like how to monetize, you sell or whatever, the participate in your ecosystem and providing your value to your client. And then this one actually we can think of a traditional like a pricing model, whatever. But what I'm interested in is there any other new opportunity that actually that you can create the new type of the monetization I call metaverse economic system. So this metaverse economic system is not just for the like well-known like a virtual economy, like just only sell like your created game artifact or the like sell your virtual land. It is more than that. This one is actually the main topic I'm going to explain. So here is one metaverse enterprise platform that I'm developing. Is actually the basic thing is that the including every characteristic of the like metaverse space, and then try to build up the like a twin space that actually the twin is the business operation model that actually the build up. So actually they can help you here that in the metaverse operating model that build up by this platform, you launch over this metaverse platform. So this metaverse enterprise platform will support to your metaverse operating model based on providing like a twin space that whatever you require in the business operation, they will be like in the place, in the virtual and the real space, in the twin space, and then they will provide a platform to launching your operating model. And then, okay, so I set the stage and I explain everything like basic. And then I'm going to talk about NFT DeFi Convergence shortly. And this is one actually that I summarize whatever that Metaverse NFT project, there are huge. And then here is a part that I summarize within my knowledge from land and then Axis Infinity, like some is a game, some is like a media, like a virtual land sale. And then there are many different ways actually that you can like for example, art gallery. And then also think about, for example, that here is some link with your actual land with your virtual land, something like that. And then even they are linked with like land ownership to provide. And then other projects you can think about here. So maybe now is many that you can have a like the integrating your NFT into the metaverse to create some economic mechanism like a sell, buy something through this NFT. Okay, so because I'm not going to talk about detail about the NFT, but I'm going to show you that one page that the most essential part you should have it, because this is very confusing. Even expert don't know about what exactly the nature of the NFT. So I summarized NFT functions and legal status. So NFT, it just to represent numerous function, right, and obligation of one asset. So it digital representation of asset, but what kind of the type of they actually represent? This is functions, right, and obligation, right? And then unique means that they are non-fungible. They talk about non-fungible means that they have a unique value, so they can replace by other one. For example, you have something that the fungible. For example, you have a money, like you have a coin, then this coin, the other coin, the same. So if somebody want to pay you something, then you can pay by this coin or the other coin. Doesn't matter. But in this case, for example, that you have some specific product or something, your artwork, and then it cannot be replaced by the different artwork or the different type of the product, because each one has unique value. It has a unique one. So they call is so by this actually that means that they can provide authenticity, verification, exclusivity. And this is a concept actually that many people use in the, like, for example, like sell your digital art, and then what NFT provide, because it is not, for example, your digital art that actually people can copy the millions. So by doing actually the put into your digital art to like in the NFT, they can provide the authenticity and the verification and exclusivity. And then you should remember that when you buy NFT is mean what? This is very important topic that, okay, so then you need about what is the right accompany with the NFT is determined by the NFT creator. You should know that if the NFT creator, what kind of creator owns property or IP right of the underlying asset. So is a creator is owner of the underlying asset with what kind of right? It can like for example, it is like a real property, like real estate, and then this owner have a title, like it's proved that he owns this property. If this is kind of like an intangible asset, then you can think about is he has intellectual property right. So what to transfer actually to the NFT of this underlying asset is depending on how you create, right? So usually that when you like develop, usually they call it the mint, right? In the mint of this non-fungible token, because it's tokens in the cryptocurrency like taxonomy, they call like minting of the NFT. They usually put on like a Ethereum like a platform or the other platform, and then they utilizing a smart contract. And usually that, for example, I'm going to explain in the later that actually the 271 like a format, usually that they provide is the ownership of this NFT, right? So NFT is not transfer ownership into underlying IP right automatically. So you should be careful that this is a different, right? Whether you have like ownership of the NFT itself, and then you have ownership of the underlying IP is different. For example, that if you buy something, for example, you buy the chair, right? What you buy is ownership of that chair, right? Not other chair, that chair. You pay the price for that chair. Then what can you do? You can resell it. Doesn't matter. But you cannot change something and redesigning and then reproduce it. You cannot do that because of this IP right. This IP right is held by the original like a product developer, right? So unless you have a separate license, you cannot reproduce or whatever. You cannot do anything except you resell of your product as it is. So this is a very important topic. So whatever you buy, like a famous like digital art, right? You buy it through your NFT. That means that you can hold it or resell it, but you cannot do anything like changing or reproducing whatever, right? Because of this underwriting IP right. It's not transferred automatically through this NFT. And then also, for example, like NFT of the real property, and then it can be used as a proof of the ownership transfer, right? In this case, no have any underwriting IP law, and then you can send your agreement that it is like a real title transfer through this NFT. So this is where actually but usually be some legal mechanism, right? Not just for like, for example, if you put in the NFT as a smart contract, but the smart contract is cannot be legal bound, right? Because you should be careful that when you're providing your real property ownership through this NFT, you need some protecting mechanism separating the physical space, right? So this is a subtle space actually. Even you can like make an NFT based on your underwriting asset is a real property, but when you're providing your ownership through this NFT, not in the real space. For example, you buy a house and then the owner of the previous house will be give you your title, and then you register your ownership, your local like a government or something like that. Still, you need that kind of mechanism. Otherwise, no guarantee that just to hand over NFT does not mean that they will like automatically transfer your title unless you have like a separate agreement. So this is a very important topic you should have in mind. That, and then this is very important, that obligation. What kind of obligation has it? Is like an NFT could be considered commodity, right? Representing a commodity, or it can be security, right? In the stock, right? So one example is a fractional NFT. So means that you have one entity to be NFTized, and then you can be like make one NFT, or the 10 NFT is a partial ownership of this fractional NFT, can be like usually that they call security test or Huawei test, can be like a subject to this one. And then what happens if they can be turned out to be commodity or the security? They under federal laws, they will be under regulation. So you should follow the regulation to create, to register, sell, everything will be under the federal laws. So you may be experiencing in the blockchain space ICO, right? And sometimes if your token is not completely utility token like a Bitcoin or the Ethereum, they will be like under security law, and then whether it's exchange or the sale create, you should be under the security law, right? So you should be careful that what is a function, right, and obligation of your NFT space. Okay, and then this is one actually you should look at it ERC 729 NFT, that usually what actually the transfer through this smart contract, usually the ownership of this one. And then metadata will talk about you, for example, your original artifact with the submail, not in the blockchain. So they will talk about something like that. So usually what is like using it like a changing of the approval of the something can help you to transfer it or directly transfer. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the DeFi ecosystem, and then DeFi means the decentralized finance, and then it's based on in the blockchain. So why a blockchain is a decentralized somebody working in this space, Web3. So Web3 is based on the decentralized network of your web. And then usually the DeFi is like a DEX is a decentralized exchange. So you can exchange your like a cryptocurrency or the NFT through the DEX, or the money market, like random browsing and other type of things is possible here. And then actually I did separately very detailed talk about how actually the design and develop of this DeFi in the before. So I posted in my YouTube, so you can see the topic. I actually the very detailed step how you actually design and develop this DeFi before. So I'm not going over detail for this one. And then finally convergence. Actually the mechanism is very simple. Like NFT holders can stake his NFT as collateral value in the DeFi money market for borrowing cryptocurrency against its collateral value. So for example, the FTX is well known. So they holding some NFT and then provide like the NFT is usually called illiquid currency, and then they create currency through the like make this one as deposit in the in the DeFi platform, and then get the like a fungible token, and then can utilize that fungible token by the like a put in stake this NFT as a collector. And then for another thing is like a real asset holder can tokenize his asset as well, like a LuxFi is kind of that kind of the project. And then also like for detail that how you hold that, actually that you need to develop or you can like employ some already developed like specific bonding curve, smart contract. And then usually they provide like how much you mint your fungible token and what is the price. So they provide the market mechanism, usually automatic market maker type mechanism they provide. Okay. So finally, I only have about 10 minutes, so I'm going to finish up very quickly. So this is the main topic. So this is under, I'm not going to show detail because it's under developing. This is my business topic also that I have come up with the idea that making the new protocol to enable this Metaverse ecosystem will be good business topic that so I'm going to use some snapshot that to make you understand what is meant by the Metaverse economic system and what is their business potential. Okay, so Metaverse economic system component, you can think about like economic system. So usually the economic entity, person, legal entity. So you and me and then companies, whatever that participate in the economic system. And then usually that this is my proposal that how they actually identify themselves. I propose like a DID, decentralized identifier, self-sovereign identifier. If you're working in the blockchain, this is a well-known concept. And then also you need some medium of exchange or store the value. This is we call money, right? And then payment system. You need to like a credit card, whatever you need to value money and the payment system, transaction of your money. And then I'm thinking about what kind of thing this will be the develop, like who will be the like in the future. Maybe the potential will be the every government now thinking about like digital money, like central bank digital currency, CBDC, or the universally acceptable cryptocurrency. I'm not sure. It's not available yet. It'll be developed over, but we need some mechanism, payment mechanism based on some universal currency can be working in the virtual and real space at the same time. So who knows what will happen? But currently, in temporary, all kind of like a cryptocurrency we can utilize, like a Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever. You can utilize as an intermediate like a solution for that. In the future, maybe the Metaverse market is growing. And then who knows that this kind of the new type of the currency cannot working in the virtual and the real space will be coming out. And then you need like a banking system, financial system. And then this will be required for the DeFi operation. And then an asset, right? For example, that there is a capital, like a capital market you require. And then asset and goods, and then for example values and rights represented by the NFTs, and then also like a metaverse present by the digital twin. So digital twin is something like the presence. For example, your real estate can be placed in as a virtual twin in the virtual space. And then commerce system, you need to be like exchange. You can sell and buy your product. So you need the commerce system. So what kind of thing? Marketplace and exchange delivery for real asset goods and exchange for the fiat currency, whatever. So I found a very interesting like a project, the Borgen protocol. Actually, they call Decentralizing Commerce. And actually what they're doing is actually it's like what is it, like a future market. So they actually like a deposit their money for the like in the escrow, actually for the future like commerce mechanism. What I mean is that like for example the buyer and seller deposit their money, and then NFT use as like some guarantee that in the future they will be like a sell and buy, right? And then in the smart contract, they can connect to real world commerce using this commerce infrastructure in the virtual world. So this is one mechanism that actually the one way to actually how you can do your commerce in the virtual can be crossover to actually realize in the real space. And then what they providing is like a future type option, actually, that the people in the buyer and seller in this ecosystem, they actually deposit their real money for the guarantee that in the future in the smart contract they will be executed. They will be like keep the promise to deliver the good and deliver the payment. Okay, so this is my idea. This is one illustrate. Oh, this is one DI, the software identity, and you can look at it. Okay, so this is my final topic, the Metaverse ecosystem architecture. I'm not going to show up for more general things, but I'm still developing the general architecture to hold many type of the different type of the commerce and the payment, and then different type of the like a product or business type. But this is one illustration that I'm showing in the future, that whatever happen, like for example, you want to sell your you buy your electric car, whatever in the future, that this is a real space in virtual space. So this is an economic system that this commerce can happen is that your dear space showroom, dealership, whatever, will be your virtual space. And then your car will be virtual twin. And then it will be represented by NFT and digital twin. So this one digital representation represented by the and presence represented by the metaverse, metaverse digital twin. And then this value will be represented by NFT. And then each people, the economic entity, I'm joined my avatar with DID, and then the buyer seller also join. And then you visit your showroom, and then you look at some of your car in here, and then you want to buy it. And then what happened is that actually you pay by some cryptocurrency, and then they will provide the NFT that the proof that you have a title in the virtual space. And then in the like a financial mechanism is that like a financing, you have financing your car, and actually you get the financing from your virtual bank providing NFT, and then they will provide a cryptocurrency by this kind of thing is a financing mechanism. And then how they actually realize in actual space. So what they provide up to now is just NFT, right? So is a virtual title. And then actually what happened is actually he can also join as a digital twin factory that provided by this automotive manufacturer. And then you want to be like choose your design option, something like that. And then I already explained like a co-creation that you have a metaverse digital twin factory, and then actually that can connect to your real space factory, and then you maybe make your customized option, and then they build up your car, and then they will provide your car with your title in actual space to deliver to you. And then still the open question is that this kind of the virtual currency can be how you realize in real money. I mean, I explained that it can be CDBC, and then it'll automatically like solve it, but I'm not sure when it will like realize, or maybe in the country you have like a realize, for example, that's through the like exchange, right? You have a Bitcoin, then you can make a cash through the some kind of like exchange like a Binance or whatever, but this realization mechanism will be needed. But anyway, this is a whole like a cycle that actually to execute your like your economic system from the payment to like a financing to your commerce and delivery, everything in here. So this is my basic idea that actually that you can build up this new metaverse economic system. By doing that, you can think about there are huge potential. Actually, you can make money in a like a not available in the traditional like a value capture model. So this is one actually the underdeveloped, and I'm more like elaborate this scheme in the near future. Okay, so I did everything I want to talk about. So I stop my sharing, and then I will turn to Moses and Sanford for their topic.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. So yeah, you can do whatever you want from now on.
Okay, terrific. So thank you so much, Alex, for this introduction. Sanford, could you share your video? You have to click on start video so we can see you, and also unmute.
Oh, I had to, I was
Yeah,
sharing before I unmuted. Sorry about
yeah.
that.
Okay, here. So I'll introduce Sanford, and then you can take it from here now. Just jump in about 2/3 of the way through the presentation. Here you go.
Hey, there you go, Moses.
Okay, Sanford, you go ahead.
Great. Hi, my name is Sanford Livingston. I am the head of Basketizer IO. I'm here with my Future Lab partner, Moses Ma. And we have, and Alex, thank you for your presentation, because it's kind of a backdrop into some of the things we're going to talk about. And it's going to be really helpful because you went to explain a lot of the things that we're looking at as we look at this opportunity to basketize a particular product and bring about a solution as we converge to a DeFi world. Again, my name is Sanford Livingston. This is Moses Ma. We have our information there, and I'll jump right in. As we talked about, even with Alex, the NFT market is expanding. It's growing 6,000% just year over year. And right now it's being used a lot by creative artists for music and an artwork, and the sharing of that in that particular, I guess, the metaverse world. But from a finance part, which Alex explained, this DeFi, there is an incredible opportunity that I see, given the fact that I also run a financial development corp in California. They're one of 7. And what we do is we have a contractual agreement with the state to provide loan guarantees to lenders and financial institutions to small businesses that they're working with, where they need some type of synthetic collateral to support the debt. This right here just kind of gives you an idea of some of the usage for those loans. They're really helpful right now in this particular situation that we're in the pandemic, where businesses need funds to run and to get through tough times, and basically just to grow from an entrepreneur standpoint. Given that California is one of the leading economies in the world, this is a great place to expand the capital usage for these businesses. Right now, California is going to be using $600 million and leveraging it 10 times to provide promises. You know, so in the metaverse world, promises is like these intangible items that we have, and there's a promise to pay if something goes wrong. So we do 80% guarantees up to 2.5 million for these small businesses, and this is the fund that we use in California to get that done. Now, we provide about $160 million in guarantees, those promises, to help these small businesses out via these institutions. But, you know, what if in our quantum world we were able to transform these loan guarantees into NFTs? We would be able to then take them and basketize them, much like we use mutual funds for the stocks or REITs. We can basketize these loan guarantees and securitize them and sell them in the secondary market, which will free up the reserves to lend even more. So we can kind of expand exponentially the usage of these funds. And given that we can use the blockchains and crypto that comes along with that to expand it, we can go well beyond California's reach and even go globally with this idea. And just to give you an idea of when we start to basketize, some of the things that can happen, right? So you say banks, for instance, they're merging and they have what they call CRA agreements, Community Reinvestment Act agreements, where they have to provide help to the community, well, they would be able to basketize and put their resources behind the very targeted group that they're after. They may be after a particular zip code of deals. They may be after, low to moderate income areas and, minority groups or women-owned businesses. They could then put their resources right to that group and back of the basket of entrepreneurial debt deals that they're looking for. It's incredible what can happen. Right now, deals that are over $1 million, we have zero default. So we're not talking about guaranteeing deals that are iffy. We're using the same algorithmic approach that in the real world, we're using for these guarantees. Transfer that into the DeFi world where the possibilities are endless, and it comes along with data and information that we can turn into knowledge for future solutions. Here we have the Basketizer, smart wallet. So it shows you that all that information we can deduce down into the use right into our mobile phone. You can see vis-a-vis the performance, the baskets or the characteristics of the deals that are out there that are for purchase. And it's just a very complementary way of using the product that Future Labs is actually helping us, put together. And Moses can talk about that in a second. But, at our desk, we're able to, for those that are managing, the tokens and managing the NFTs and making sure that they have the right, characteristics that they're looking for, the right performance, what percentage of the portfolio, all that information can be captured in what we call our basket manager. Very, very, very good stuff. And like I say, this is working currently in across the country in various groups, but in California in particular, we have a loan guarantee program that has a 2% default rate over the 55-year life of the program. And for deals that are over $1 million, the default rate is 0. So this is really a great way of giving support to the banking institutions and allowing them to the synthetic collateral needed to round out the underwriting for these particular deals. And Moses, can you
Sure. I'll take over now. I'm going to show a couple of slides. So the first thing I want to say is if you have baskets, those are essentially portfolios. And the most important thing you can do to a portfolio is optimize it. So we have a deep tech brain trust of PhDs, half of whom are full professors in the areas of AI and optimization that will be helping us in this area. And we've developed a significant amount of deep tech in the area of basket optimization already. And if you go to the next slide, I'll just give you a really quick hit about what's possible in the future. So NFTs are always going to be basketized in the future. For example, many of the art NFTs that are being purchased now, I would predict that 80% of them will end up useless or valueless because they're illiquid. However, if you put these less valuable NFTs into a large basket, that would actually retain a value just like junk bonds do. However, the issue there is how do you make sure you don't get toxic assets that will ruin your baskets? And that's actually doable on the blockchain because it's open and public, and we can share the data through so you can never get toxic assets, which is an amazing breakthrough for that area because those secondary markets are really important for liquidity in these items. But again, just talking about the optimization. So the two technologies that we're looking at for any of the nerds in the audience, this is for you and everyone else. I apologize for getting too technical, but I'll get to the point for why this is important. So we're focusing on two technologies. One's called Cubo, quadratic unconstrained binary optimization. And it's useful for logistics optimization, machine learning, portfolio optimization. But what's really interesting about it is that this is the technology currently being exploited in the D-Wave Systems quantum annealer and the IBM next generation neuromorphic platform. So using things like the hybrid hardware, like the Fujitsu digital annealer, you can actually get like 100x improvement over current optimization technologies. But when full-scale hardware quantum computing unveils in the next decade, you could get 10,000 to 100,000 times improvements in optimization quality. So when that happens, that will completely shift how we think about business. And it's important to kind of understand that stuff now. And that's why every major financial services company is doing a quantum pilot. So anyway, I will move to the next slide. And what I want to tell you is that our company, Future Lab, is we're half venture incubator and half consulting company, but we're working on an ecosystem for extending the value of NFTs to make them less like the Wild West, where you can get ripped off very easily, or you can make a ton of money finding gold. What we want to do is add the 5 W's to NFTs: the who, what, where, when, and the underlying wiring in terms of legal policy service, digital dispute resolution, open governance, digital compliance. All that stuff needs to be built in to make it easier for these to work, so that you can create an NFT as easily as an NFT creator creates an art NFT now. I'll just give you a couple of examples of why this is interesting. For example, if you could embed an open system for interoperable location and proximity sensors, a musician could issue an NFT that would increase in value and provide additional rewards if the user has attended 5 or more concerts. So for example, if they've attended concerts, you get a free backstage pass through the NFT, which makes the NFT more valuable. So those kinds of things are possible. Another area we think that's very interesting is something called a nestable NFT. For example, if you did an NFT for a classic collectible car that's worth $1 million, if the parts inside that car are all new, it's not going to be worth as much as if all the parts are original. Each of the parts could actually have an NFT for their originality and their provenance, and then embedded or nested inside of the car NFT, which would increase the value of that NFT. So the idea of nested NFTs is very interesting, but none of this is possible unless we create a new kind of a standard that's beyond ERC 721 that enables these sorts of things to happen. And our proposal is to actually make that happen in a partnership that would accelerate your ability to create NFTs. We're going to put this concept into a book we're writing. We're about 90% done with it. And if you wait until the last slide and send us an email, we'll give you a free copy of that book. I'll hand it back over to Sanford.
Hey, thanks, Moses. Well, we have 3. We wanted to, just give you a good taste of what we're thinking about as we're, envisioning expanding on a already successful model of loan guarantees that help small businesses right here and right now by, kind of expanding into the virtual world of DeFi and the financial opportunities there. It's a $50 billion business already. Thinking that what we're doing here, transferring it over into the DeFi world will even expand the opportunities of helping more businesses with the new asset class. And just to let you know that we had 0 losses, again, over $1 million guarantees, and it's a great way of securing the promise with different assets. Secondly, if we're able to basketize and then sell these and securitize them in an open market and secondary markets, then we can pull those reserves back into the trust or into the pool for even more usage with more businesses. So it actually makes the loan guarantee system even more efficient. So that's a great opportunity for us to think about. And lastly, just some, just the beginning. We can blossom into even other fields. Like, I'll give you an example. We have what we call a climate tech financing program, where we're looking to provide debt to businesses that are using like the hydrogen ferry or the EV charging stations, where there's an impact, a carbon impact that is justifiable. And we actually have an engineering report that pulls that. Wouldn't it be great to kind of consider a Bitcoin carbon offset, where we're using a Bitcoin type of asset to collateralize and use a synthetic collateral to support a project or a company or a business that is, having a carbon impact that's justifiable and is confirmed with an engineering report. These are the types of ideas that are blossoming and happening, and we just wanted to share them with you so that you will be able to know what they are. And lastly, I want to make sure that Moses gets a chance to talk about the convergence one more time.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add that many lifetimes ago, I was a video game designer, and we designed a game called Spectre, which was the first commercially successful cyberspace and metaverse game. This was many years ago, I can't even count. But we're familiar with the metaverse and how to make money with it. What I wanted to share is that this vision that Alex has is actually very, very interesting, because what's happening is we think that DeFi and NFTs provide a kind of plumbing layer for this vision. Mobile and Metaverse provide the UX. I will admit that Metaverse is probably Web 4 rather than Web 3, but mobile's already out there and you can actually leverage that now. And I think that the use of artificial intelligence can bring us 10x ROI improvements over what's being done now, and that's very useful. But where the future of convergence lies is when quantum gets rolled in, and we can actually start thinking about the impact of 1,000-fold improvements in ROI. So those are the possibilities of the future. And again, Sanford and I thank Alex and all of you for this chance to chat with you. And then I'll just finish up. If you send us an email, we'll send you a copy of this book, and we'd love to talk to you if you'd like to partner in the niftier innovation ecosystem. That would be great. And I'll just let Sanford say his goodbye.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're going to be helping get many small businesses back on their feet right now. However, just imagine, as many of you maybe older can realize, when we used to have the vinyl records and we went from vinyl records to CDs and now we're streaming, music experience, is still there, but different platforms. I think we're going to provide the same promise to provide capital, but on different platforms. And with that, I would just like to thank you for your time with us today.
Okay, thank you, Moses and Sanford. I think it's a very fascinating topic, right? Is it, that? Okay, so could you out from your slide, and then we are going to have a Q&A and discussion time. We have a lot of time is still left. Okay. Okay, so basically that I have a good like a view from Sanford and Moses. The reason is that because usually you can think about what it happened, that whatever the new paradigm happened, like a digital business, right? Because 10 years ago, nobody knows actually what it happened like with the smartphone. And then after like a few years later, like Airbnb and then like Uber type of the new digital business model is happening. And then before that, actually, the also same thing happened. Whatever the new digital, whatever new technology paradigm is coming out, and then everybody say like, oh, so what will happen in the next? Nobody knows, right? But one thing very certain is that there will be some innovator like Sanford and Moses like today, and then they will disrupt, right? And then I did this kind of the webinar and then in the not just for mine and then for the outside, and then whenever I talk about the potential of the metaverse, and then they think about, okay, so big techs, right? And then they will, when will be this kind of the business will be realized and by whom? And then I don't know who will be the for winner of this title, but one thing that very clear is that there will be someone in the underground, and then he is a very, very creative idea, and then he will still incubating something, and then he will disrupt. So I'm maybe for his Meta, maybe they can launch their platform and they will occupy some replacing their SNS model by some new type of, but actually the same thing, they transfer from their 2D SNS to the 3D through the metaverse world, but their business model will be the same thing, gathering people together, community, and then they will say by the advertisement or whatever. So their business activity will be similar. But I expect that completely new, different model that actually the Airbnb and the Uber that never before think about will be shown. And then this kind of business will be take up like an incumbent, and then they lead into the completely new like a metaverse type business, and who knows, right? In 10 years later, we can just, oh, this guy or this one actually, we discussed about 10 years before about when the metaverse it is just showing all these days, right? And then I happy to see that Moses and Sanford that is a kind of the new ways actually the based on the previous NFT, nobody everybody knows, right? Because DeFi everything, but nobody about this kind of new type of the maybe who knows it'll be like a disruptive, complete financial metaverse financial area, right? So I like this kind of the a new idea, and then I expect that this metaverse opportunity will be increased more and then more. And then this kind of the new innovator is coming out, and then they will be disrupt this metaverse space in a near future, right? So we have like a 20 minutes more can discuss. So you can discuss freely, or do you have a question and you can ask it. Manya, do you have anything? Actually, you are the only one actually maybe the participant in the previous, and you know you understand, right? Because my intention to
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that I want to because you asked me about this kind of the metaverse economic system before that I answered that what is the conflict, right?
Alex, the more I learn, the less I know. Because it's like you know the Indian saying, when you touch an elephant, and 7 blind men or 5 blind men touch an elephant, and they try to describe it. It's like that for me. But definitely, I liked your presentation first, and Sanford and Moses, Orban. And it opened a completely new perspective to me, especially from the point of view of the technologies we're using. And you know, even the on-ramp to computing, quantum computing and so. And it's amazing the amount of dollars moving, Sanford. It stunned me. So I'm not sure if I have a question. It's more of a comment.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you can freely discuss whatever, and you can comment whatever you want. You can do that.
I have a question for Alex. So when do you think the metaverse will be fully commercialized?
Commercialized? Yeah, already. Yeah. Already commercialized. But you know that because I expressed that for example that I made some different type of the metaverse. Mostly the two type is whether it is a central in virtual and heavily central plus augmented by the real space is a current mainstream like Roblox. game. And then also like for example media, and then other like for example like you're the pop singer or you're famous like a musician and you show in the metaverse space you can play yours. That's already happened, right? But this is the one actually that happened. And then but I think that the dear potential is to I present today to how actually you link your virtual space to your real space. And then how you can do it is depending on many different type of the like technology. Still we are not there in the XR and reality technology. And also you mentioned about like computing, right? Computing technology still not fully power this kind of the new opportunity. And then also other type of the like for example networking 5G. The talk about 10 years ago, we are going to have a webinar in the next week. The manual is speak of my 5G, and then whether it can be deployed or not. So still the technology and then infrastructure is not fully support, but in the virtual wise, actually it already happened. But for the real wise, and then you know that the not much overspread it over the world, but particularly in South Korea, they are very choosable. You know, even the government, you'll be surprised that government to say that they are now in the election. They are going to elect a new president next month. And then all presidents candidates talk about they want to build a metaverse government. so I think the public sector will be like interesting in the build of metaverse space. And then that metaverse space is not the meaning the completely like connected to the real space. Usually what they call is like a 3D space with immersive some way, right? But actually they will be overthrown by the like that space to the real space. So that's one good news is that a lot of company now express that they are going to build a metaverse in the purely virtual now. But in the future, for example, the Hyundai, they want to like link their like a virtual smart factory to the real smart factory. And then it'll be like industry wise will be spread. So my expectation is that it will be not built in a day, but you will see the more application and adoption by the main industry. And then I think about you will have a business case. I think that there may be some small business case can happen in a year. That's my expectation. That's why I spent a lot of time to catch up this space, and then discuss with other many people. And then you know that at least I have a 30 years experience. Look at the like a life cycle of the new product coming out, the technology coming out, right? And through the hype cycle, whatever, and then metaverse will be going, right? And then catch up soon. Yeah.
You know, I do have one data point. A friend of mine runs a digital twin company in the warehouse space. He found that if you put even basic off-the-shelf optimization, you'll get somewhere between 20 and 30% improvement of the operability of a warehouse or of a packing center, shipping center. So I think that with bespoke and quantum optimization, there will be a significant improvement in both logistics and warehousing.
Yeah,
so that could be a low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, actually, I didn't show you today, but actually the manual, I show everything like optimize. Well, I show you one of the like industry application possibility metaverse is optimization of your process. So actually my previous webinar, I might show you, you talk of how you optimize your business system, like warehouse, supply chain, and your like a factory wise. That's I'm looking at the like a huge potential with like not just a digital twin, but the metaverse is like beyond the digital twin. It's the digital twin is a component of the metaverse, right? And then what's different is the metaverse is the digital twin as a component, and it is surrounding environment and space, and the people and other assets join, right? So it's a much more better like opportunity, but the digital twin is a key role, it's a key component of this metaverse space. And then I was working on the digital twin. And then you know that there is something that you mentioned that we need this. For example, traditional optimization model with a digital twin, and the digital twin, current digital twin, like a realization, for example, that you have a digital representation of your, for example, the warehouse, and then you need to like a data model or the real space building model you need, but to try to optimize in a full scale. For example, recently I've seen you mentioned about the carbon, right? Is like a climate change, and then some German company you made, Gman, they try to like optimize your full energy system of your city, for example, and then you have a huge parameter of your energy space, like from the buildings, your transportation, whatever. You build up your like a digital twin, and then you run simulation over that one. They require huge amount of data, and they require the computing power, right? And then I found that like a new type of the computing will be required, but still huge potential. But my main interesting is to simplify this current status of this digital twin model that usually like adopted the industry is still having. So that's when I talk about the inner level digital twin. This digital twin is very likely like a lean version of the digital twin. Then you have an essential part of the physical entity or process, and then they be connected. So that's what I'm
So
still
developing. If I could help, there are a number of questions on the chat line. Maybe we could take those. I'll just read one. Will the metaverse be the new internet, and will there be a monopoly because of the giants in the game? Or do you think there's opportunity for new companies?
Yeah, you know that's one. For example, the monopoly. Yeah, that one is basic, right? The storyline, whatever talk about. You may be like when you talk about the metaverse, and then we call movie, right? Ready Player One, right? And then the Ready Player One, if you have seen movie, then you see that like it's monopolized by the one company actually holding this metaverse space, right? And then everybody talk about this. So they why that Web3, right? They want to build a metaverse of the Web3, means a decentralized, right? So nobody have a governance of that. But still, yeah, it's possible. For example, the decentralized land is Web3, is no governance, but actually the creator of this metaverse, right? The company owns something. So yeah, people will be prefer to build up in the completely, like for example, if you have blockchain guy, DAO, right? Decentralized automotive, organization type will be like will be wanted, right? But I'm not sure, because even blockchain, still we don't have any fully realized like a DAO, right? So that's a still open question. But yeah, it's a proper like appropriate direction will be the like DAO type metaverse, and the interoperable between the like among this metaverse space. But it may be long future, right? It's still. Recently I saw that you have for example, you have a different type of the metaverse, say Roblox, decentralized, whatever, and then one company actually they invest by the Samsung. They build up avatar, interoperable avatar. So you can join decentralized using this your avatar, and then you can join other like in the interoperable avatar is one starting point. It can be interoperable between the like among the metaverse, but in the future maybe some, but you know that in the blockchain, we know that like very difficult to have a different blockchain system have interoperability, right? Still a lot of people are working on. So that'll be the one. What is the other question?
So first of all, we have someone joining on video. Did you want to say something? The man in the blue shirt? No? Yes? Okay. You're on mute. So your phone.
Yeah, actually, Emmanuel, I was listening. I just turned it on. But from a question or a comment viewpoint, technologies are never a step function. Introduction of technologies are small step functions, sometimes followed by retreat. And that was on your previous comment about the exact time when metaverse will happen. I think will be a lot of steps.
Thank you. What I'll add is, I'm active on the Decentralized ID working group at the W3C, and the first two companies to file formal objections to decentralized identity and self-sovereign are Google and Facebook. So I just thought that was an interesting point there.
It's just a coincidence, right?
Yeah. So anyway, the next question was about safety in the virtual world, safety and security and liability. Would you like to comment on any? Maybe if Sanford, you could comment on that because you're an expert in risk management.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's one of the issues right now with the Fed and why it's been such a glacial process with the government in terms of looking at anything blockchain or crypto. As you'll see, they're even trying to figure out how to put regulations around it. But what I do see is that once we get our hands around the safety of it, because like just yesterday, I think there was a big item in the paper where there was a $1 billion or $3 billion seizure of assets in Bitcoin, where there was some laundering take place. So there's some issues and challenges that we're going to work through. But just like we did, Moses, when you talk about the Wild West and bank robberies, when we found a way to minimize the idea that it's okay to have those fraudulent or criminal type of activities take place, and there's a high enough bar to kind of mitigate those issues, we're into a wonderment that outside of you folks, which are mostly techno folks, the layman is going to have an incredible opportunity to expand some of the things we've been taking for granted. Like right now, to sell a promise is something that's you can't put your hands around either, right? It's not you don't have cost of goods sold around a promise. But with this guarantee process, just for example, just think about the opportunities to bring in this asset now from a digital and a DeFi perspective, where you're staking instead of leaning the way we do with certain products. Once we get the safety component down and the government kind of works hand in hand with techno folks to mitigate the issues, we're in for an amazing journey.
Thanks. Alex, did you want to wrap it up?
I think that that's the concern for the safety and security is not just for the metaverse and it's for the whole digital, right? So, but you maybe heard about recently there was a sexual harassment in the metaverse space, and then there's for example, Meta, actually they developing some way like a COVID-19, like a far away. You cannot approach me up to certain distance, right? They're developing some mechanism to safely that until you allow that your avatar, it can be like a safe by the approaching by the unknown people or something like this. So there may be some technical ways, and then security is another issue. But there is for example, if you go into decentralized, right, and then it'll be the same problem we have in the blockchain, right? Because for example, in the blockchain, you want to be completely not interrupted by the a central entity, and then for example in the how you guarantee that your identity or something like that. So it'll be developed over there when the metaverse will be developed like a blockchain. But we need to be reserved. Like for example, AI, the same thing, like ethnic use of the AI, and then they're developing ethnic a principle of the AI use or something like this. So we need that protection mechanism. Right. So and then we should be for together, right? Yeah.
Very insightful. We have someone joining us. Did you want to share about safety and security?
I did not. I actually had a question, if you don't mind. I'm new to this space, and I'm in retail. I have a couple car dealerships, and I'm trying to figure out how to connect. We've got sort of a pseudo wannabe blockchain workflow already built out. But I wanted to know from a initial just getting into this space, looking at it from the internet, if I'm in Decentraland and I've got a piece of real estate and I'm trying to build out right now my showroom with 3D images of the vehicles itself as NFTs. Do you think that initially, just as a novice, the best way to do it is just a hyperlink to back into my digital retail portals and traditional out of the Metaverse Web3 platform and operate it kind of like a regular website? Or what's the how would you begin that journey?
I'll take a crack at that first, and then maybe Alex, you can answer. So my recommendation is to test. Try it one way, see what happens, what kind of lift it into your market, and then try it another way until you see something that actually increases your sales 10x. And keep testing until you get that disruptive change. But there's no way to tell you because this is the Wild West, right? It's undiscovered virgin territory. And if you figure it out, be sure you patent it. And so if you patent it, and then the second thing is find partners. So for example, the very first demonstration I saw of decentralized ID and blockchains was for car insurance. So someone basically wrapped up everything you needed to do. You could step into a car dealership, click on your mobile phone, and have everything all done for you in 5 minutes. So if you could do something like that by partnering with an insurance company or with the title companies, that would actually be the kind of realistic gains that customers would want to see. Because at the end of the day, you don't want your benefits to be completely virtual. You want real world benefits. Okay, Alex, did you want to add? This is a great.
Yeah,
that's great. That's great.
Yeah, that's what actually I haven't seen that kind of situation in South Korea. I already mentioned in South Korea, there's 1,000 cases like retail space. They want to have their retail shop in the metaverse and try that. And then what happened? Right? For example, build up something, no problem, I can help you. And then, for example, you can buy some land in the for example, in the decentralized your estate of your a dealership in the virtual space, and the building up, no problem. They provide a platform, and then you can design something, your showroom, whatever. And then usually what happened was that usually they prefer some platform like Roblox, whatever. People can gather together. It's people visiting is very important, right? And then what kind of experience you can provide, and what is your purpose? Marketing. You want to increase your sale, but what happened was that in initial offering, a lot of people visit, right? And then they look at it, and then they provided some why you bid it, because they provided some incentive, for example, only it's like in the real space. If you bid it in the first 100, we will give you some discount of your next car sale or something. They provide NFT, and then this is NFT that can use in the buy something in the coffee shop, whatever. So they provide some economic advantage, and then. But you cannot keep going on that way, right? Because it's a money happen. So once happened was that actually they stopped their promotions through this kind of advantage, and people dramatically decrease in the visiting, right? And then initially they posted when they open it, oh, we open in our retail shop or our showroom in the metaverse, and the initial first three for example millions of people visit. What happened after the consume everything? And then actually their pure interest was not to see your car, right? They're interested in get some benefit like NFT or whatever, right? So you should be very careful about. So most important is not building. Thing is that what you want and then what you get, right? That's why I talk about business model, right? What kind of experience you can provide in a natural way that actually get the attention is to their interest is not to get the a bonus, whatever. Get the intention is to look at your showroom and then feel interesting in your car, right? So most important thing is how you get that interest, right? So you need to design, and based on I provide what kind of experience you can have in the users, and then with your proposal, right, use case, and then you should be think about very cleverly that actually how you can attract your people, and then the provided experience, and then they through the experience they actually interested in you buy your car in your dealership, right? So that's
so
what
I have a suggestion. For our guest. If you do an NFT, it actually has to have something collectible in its value. What kind of car do you sell? cars do you sell?
Toyota and Ford.
Okay. If you could get Ford to agree to let you issue baseball cards for the designers of the car, and you had a limited edition, those NFTs will be very valuable, and you could give them away if someone comes to your place and test drives. But you need to find some way to accrue value to the NFT and then sell that. Yeah, so I think the designers of the car, because I remember it's a Chinese lady who is the head engineer for the F-150. That would be huge, right? And especially if she got, for example, if you did a deal with her, you should give 10% of the way to some charity, give her 50% of give her the most of the value of that, but the rest of it would accrue, or if it's resold, she gets 10%. But the engineers would actually love to get a little bit of love from their customers. So I think something like a baseball trading card for the car designers would be really interesting for you to consider. And if you did that, you should expand it to all the car dealerships. Get all the dealerships to agree with you and lead that as the thing that you want to drive. That will get you noticed by Ford and Toyota so that you could actually break out, because I sense that you also want to be one of those tech billionaires as well as a car dealership owner.
Absolutely. I mean, it looks to me like this is a bigger space. That's a brilliant, I can't thank you guys enough. I just took a page of notes, but that's not really where I was going. It's overwhelming. I mean, its possibilities are endless. I thought about an NFT, but not in that way. That's brilliant. Thank you.
Well, yeah, I'm a car guy. I love cars. So give me an email and I'd be happy to talk for a little bit about your brainstorm with you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I think that somebody asked a very important question, like when it be possible for like brands to set up the store in the metaverse using DIY tools? Yeah, this is I'm also interesting, right? Because I try to build up my own in the current platform. Still, I'm an expert. I'm a tech savvy, but difficult. That's a situation. So you need some help, right? For example, there are some level of the sophistication. Like for example, you want to be like a proprietary, want to build up only for you, then you need some designers, right? Something like you need to like how to build up, like how to use a CAD or the like, for example, Unity, the like a game, like a developing platforms. And then another level of the sophistication is like, for example, how actually well represent you whatever you want to do. For example, Samsung, where Samsung actually they developed their showroom, actually the like a complete meaning of the actual showroom in the New York, and then I visited them, and then they and I saw that there is at least 5 engineers and designers working for that. Even they buy in the decentralized and supporting by the platform, and then still they need some expert to build up, right? And then for the Roblox type, yeah, you can do that, right? Is you have some learn something, but the design wise, it not much that you maybe expect, because that's for the game characters. It's not for the like realization of your real space. So up to now, for example, Omniverse, that's for the professionals, for the co-working space. But I think that they're really coming out, right? Because for example, that I've seen is recently that you can build up your like, for example, you have a not showroom, but your conference, right? In the conference, you have like exhibition room, and then there is a do-yourself type of the like the build up your like exhibition room. Somebody promoted me, so it'll be coming out, and then it will happen, because it's a trend, like a no code and less code. The platform is. Who knows, like Microsoft or somebody have some huge potential, then they can be like including that the kind of the SaaS package in their like Azure platform, whatever. But not now, but I expect. I'm also interested. I think that will be very important to like wide spread of the use of the metaverse is that kind of type of the like a tool will be required. I think that that's a very good question. Right?
Thank you. Or even like new product announcements, we could have a 3D image of the product with one of our employees doing a presentation like they do concerts in the metaverse, theoretically.
Yeah. I think that the most important thing is that you need to experience for yourself. Right? This is very important. There are many metaverse platforms, Roblox to like a Decentralized, and then even Samsung. You tried it, right? And you need to feel and sense, right? And it is the best approach you can experience.
Thank you.
If I can add, right, if I can add something from digital transformation, not necessarily metaverse, not only metaverse. Remember that the engagement on one-on-one is customer, and opening this two-way dialogue, it's a key tenet of digital transformation and metaverse. But you have more tools in metaverse than you have, let's say, in the internet 2 or web 2.
Okay, so
Customer surveys are a good example.
Yeah, we already, my time is 2:40, so it is unexpected, you know that, because usually I had a webinar. Usually the people they stand at 1 hour, and then usually they're like a 20-minute more, but there is unexpected like we have a 10 minutes more. So I think that if you don't have any question, maybe you can individually ask me and then Moses and Sanford, and then but yeah, I think that we talk enough for the today. And then I thanks for the Moses and then Sanford first. That is fascinating topic that I learned a lot from your talk, and then fascinating audience, because I think that the point is 100 like a point the participant today, because we have discussed a lot of the fantastic topic. So thank you for everyone to participate for today's webinar, and I hope you have less of your time is wonderful time of the year. Good maybe your time will be the good afternoon or the good evening. I'm take care of everything for you. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. Like
Thank
the
you.
Good morning, good afternoon. And
Thank you, Manuel. Yeah.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.